All right, welcome back to Life Fit with DVD. Thanks for being here. Last week I talked quite a bit about creation, preserving your consciousness, your time, things that we can do to focus on the right things, and I really beat down what, what it felt like spending time on social media. And I wanted to clarify or just shift perspectives because, I realized how negative I sounded just discussing it and talking about it. Like, social media is a bad thing. Now, it depends on how you're using it, it depends on what you're using it for. And I just wanted to get into that today and clarify my stance on it because it's really a fascinating thing what social media can be used for and how you think about it. So, when I was thinking about this and this shift, is right now there is a massive, or over the last few days, a massive hurricane hit the southeast of the United States, and absolutely destroyed and obliterated towns, just small communities underwater, houses just swept away. A lot of people were lost, and um, ultimately, it's. Hold on a second. All right, sorry about that. So, what I was what I was bringing up is these towns, these communities have been absolutely ravaged by this storm, and it didn't occur to me until over the weekend, really yesterday, how bad it was when I started to see some of the movie or the videos and pictures that were coming out, some of the drone footage, and even just texts of things that were going on. People that lived in the area and what they were discussing was going on, and it was absolutely heartbreaking to hear some of these things. Of course, at the same time, this gives us awareness to what's going on and these people's needs, which has allowed other people in the sphere of influence that are seeing this stuff to reach out and try to help these people, to try to bring supplies into these communities and actually make a difference. Whether they are able to make a difference is a totally different thing when you have authorities that are like banning travel, and um, and there's a variety of reasons to why that is. There's apparently looting and vandalism going on, but at the same time, when you're in a life or death scenario, I mean, are you really going to cut off aid from people that need it to and stop people that want to help? Right? I mean, this is the world that we're in, where people's rescue efforts think they're going to be hampered by somebody just wanting to do, wanting to help. And it's ultimately it's a difference of perspective, right? From how one person is or one entity is looking at a scenario versus how another one is looking at it. But back to my point is that if it wasn't for social media being able to connect everybody, right? People putting it out there that they needed help, that they needed aid, other people wouldn't have been able to help them if it wasn't for social media. So, my point is that if you shift your perspective and you really look at it, social media is a beautiful and wonderful thing. It is incredibly important for bringing people together that otherwise wouldn't have. It takes a massive network, a global network, and it brings it down to you know people that weren't connected being able to be connected. It creates a smaller world than the bigger world that we really live in. And it's absolutely amazing, right? It's an incredible thing. Um, yeah, at the same time, it seems as if, um, the government and, you know, the mainstream sources have minimized what has happened in some of these communities. They're not telling the stories. They're really just kind of focusing on the politics and, the things that really don't matter as much to people or they cannot control at all. Um, so and I could get into this on a variety of levels. I don't really want to uh, get into the politics side of things because mostly I find it all noise. But at the same time, I mean, there are efforts going on. I firmly believe to really diminish humanity and humanity's spirit, and ultimately, as I talk about a lot here, it's about taking care of yourself, living your best life, and bringing people together. You know, really doing the best that we can with our time, focusing on the things that we need to, uh, and really getting the most out of us so the world can get the most out of us. And that, I think, is ultimately what it is to be life fit, right? So I wanted to just kind of lay out this different perspective here because um, like I had said last week, if we let social media consume our attention, we're not going to be able to focus on the right things and be able to cultivate our vision. But this is where there's a crucial difference here. Is are you using social media to shut your mind off, or are you using social media to actually contribute or look to make a difference in the lives of those that actually need the help, that have a need, right? So this ultimately gets back to what are you doing? How are you using this tool? Because like most tools, I almost consider all technologies nowadays, you can either use them productively or you can use them destructively in your life. And it ultimately depends on what you're doing with it. And if you're going there almost as a coping mechanism to just, like I said, shut off your consciousness and avoid something in your own life, or if you're actively looking, right, of like where are the opportunities that I might be able to help here, and can I say something or contribute in some way where it will make a difference. So I just wanted to point out this shifting of opinion because there's so much noise out there, and I think if people just you know shifted their opinion to from who to blame on like what's actually happening and what's going down, and focus on how can I help, right? How can I you know what can I do? What is in your power to make a difference versus what is not? And ultimately, these come down to some perspective and attitude shifts that it's not always easy. It's not always easy to identify them, but it comes back to being aware and being aware of yourself, what your own capabilities are, what your own skills are, and what you can do with them, and just even putting them out there and just offering to people what's going on. And I'm guilty of this as well. I want to offer more, but at the same time, I've needed a whole lot of attitude and mind shifting um, that's been very unconscious for me, very maybe not unconscious but subconscious, where it's been hard for me to maintain a positive attitude or a different perspective, a positive perspective, in the light of some things that have happened in my past, and how I've looked at things and my attitude for things. So in being able to become more aware of these things and how your own self-talk makes a massive difference in how you perceive the world. Um, just a perspective shift on how the tool of social media is being used. So ultimately, I just wanted to highlight that and try to give it a more positive perspective. Just like free speech, the First Amendment in America. Um, you know, we want people to have a discussion. We want people to be able to speak freely and not to speak out of fear, um, but also to present their arguments and their opinions in a rational and mature way, which is as we see seems to be harder and harder to articulate for people. So ultimately we have to have a discussion about this stuff, and it's very important because if we can't discuss things, then we can't find a common truth. We can't find a collective truth, and like I say a lot, we have a lot more in common than we do have differences. And I do think there are forces out there that are trying to shift our consciousness, make us think that we are against each other, and it is a zero-sum game and not a game of growth where there's just infinite opportunity. So I'll leave it there. If you enjoyed this, if you stayed with me this far, please like or subscribe. It'd mean a tremendous amount to me. Let me know what you think about this shift of perspective. How do you use social media? Let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to work with me, let me know as well in the comments. I'd be happy to help. I'd be happy to see what you have to say and see where I can make a difference. So I'll leave it there for now. Thanks for joining, and until next time, talk to you later. Bye.